Kai Havertz on Jefferson Lerma. But the ball was whipped in and Havertz went down. And a free kick has in fact been given for a handball by the Germany international. Palace quickly get on with things. This is Mateta who picks it up. And a free kick this time has been awarded to Arsenal. Mateta, the Palace striker, with a left arm into the face of Gabriel, who goes down under his challenge. So a free kick to Arsenal. "23 minutes gone, and Arsenal leading by that one goal to the good, that Gabriel header, which separates the sides as things stand. So free kick to Arsenal, which is quickly taken. Now William Saliba has it. Saliba onto Zinchenko, and then this time Palace reclaim the ball. Dean Henderson fires it downfield, and then it's headed up in the air by Zinchenko, and Arsenal look to win the ball back. Mateta has it this time inside the Arsenal half, but it's recovered well by the Gunners, and Palace want a free kick, nothing given. Now Gabriel Jesus chests it down, but he's in an offside position, and it will be a free kick to Crystal Palace. But there's a lack of urgency from Crystal Palace as Roy Hodgson watches on inside his technical area. He was in fact questioned, the Palace manager. A lot of the Palace supporters questioning his decision to substitute Eze during the 1-0 defeat to Everton in the FA Cup third round at Goodison Park, and he simply said he was saving him for today's encounter. We haven't seen much of Eze so far, but there is of course plenty of time for the Englishman to produce a moment of quality. The ball is back with David Raya, who plays it out onto Gabriel, the Arsenal goal scorer. Now onto Declan Rice. Rice out to William Saliba. Now Saka has it on his left foot. He offloads it onto Martin Odegaard. Odegaard over the halfway line. He's managed to pick out Lisandro Trossard. Trossard looks to go for goal, and his attempted effort is closed down and picked up by Eze inside the Palace half. Eze does well, and he goes down under a challenge and wins his side a free kick. Leandro Trossard this time the offender, so free kick to Crystal Palace, just short of the halfway line. Chris Richards to take it. Mikel Arteta's side have scored one goal from 61 shots across their past three fixtures, and we will be hoping Gabriel Jesus can get his name on the score sheet this afternoon as the ball is fired out for a Arsenal throw-in from their right-hand side inside the Gunners' half. Ben White to take it. Again, the Arsenal full-back looking for options. He plays it on to Martin Odegaard, who plays it all the way back to the Frenchman William Saliba, and then it's played out by David Raya back to the 22-year-old Saliba. Now Raya out to Gabriel. He floats it forward onto Trossard, who can't keep it in, and it goes out for a throw into Crystal Palace inside the Arsenal half down their right. Klein quickly takes. Now Chris Richards all the way back to Dean Henderson inside the Palace goalkeeper's 18-yard box, and Henderson's kick is straight to Zinchenko. Declan Rice fires it downfield this time, but the ball ends back with the Palace goalkeeper. Palace, of course, losing their opening league fixture of a calendar year on each of their past occasions in a London derby. We'll be hoping to change that this afternoon. They have in fact conceded 11 goals in their last 15 minutes of a Premier League game, and only second to Sheffield United. So it does suggest that the majority of Palace's attacking threats have come in this first half, and mainly around the 60-minute mark, as Eze has it inside the Arsenal half. He lays the ball off to Jefferson Lerma, picks it back up. Eze, who goes down under a challenge this time and wins his side a free kick. So a free kick to Crystal Palace rather centrally. Eze taking a tumble, and it's around 25 yards out. A foul by Declan Rice, and an opportunity now for the away side to test David Raya in the Arsenal goal. Half an hour played, and Arsenal still leading by that one goal from Gabriel. Eze standing over the free kick. Around 22 yards out. Eze fancies his chances here. A four-man Arsenal wall. Eze to have a shot at goal, and it's straight into the wall. Klein then hits it, takes a deflection. The ball is loose inside the Arsenal 18-yard box, but it's dealt with in the end by William Saliba and goes out for a Arsenal throw-in. But that was a great opportunity for the Eagles, and it was a rather wasteful effort by Eze. But first sights of a Crystal Palace attack in this opening half an hour. Arsenal take the throw-in meanwhile, and then Crystal Palace win the ball back. It's played forward by Mark Guay, and then cleared away by the Arsenal fullback Ben White, straight out of play for a Palace throw-in, which Tyrick Mitchell will take from the left. It's quickly taken and then cleared away by Gabriel, headed up in the air by Joachim Andersen. The ball is down the Palace left, just over the halfway line. Played forward by Mitchell, looking to pick out Mateta, who's done well and goes down under a challenge, but nothing is given, and Saliba plays it all the way back to David Raya. Now Ben White. Saliba again brings it in on his right foot, and then Raya clears his lines, but it's a poor click. Now Lerma goes for goal, and it will be a corner. That was a great opportunity for Jeff Lerma. A poor clearance by David Raya, who swung his right boot at it, and Lerma went for goal, and It was a tester for David Raya, who got his clearance all wrong. Now Eze to take the corner from the right. Ball is played in and it doesn't beat the first man, Declan Rice, and it goes out for a Palace throw in. So throw in to Crystal Palace down their left inside the Arsenal half. Mitchell takes it. Now Joachim Anderson rather centrally, he gives the ball away. Gabriel Jesus recovers it. Trossard back to Jesus, who's up against Chris Richards. He brings it in centrally, the Brazilian, and goes down under a challenge, but wins himself a free kick by Lerma this time. So 12 minutes of normal time left to play in this first half, and that header from Gabriel on 11 minutes from a Bukayo Saka corner separating these two sides. Martin Odegaard, Gabriel and Declan Rice all in discussion over this free kick. Can Arsenal double their advantage before half-time? Gabriel and William Saliba are both inside the Crystal Palace penalty area as Martin Odegaard raises both arms and signals he's about to take it. Odegaard into the area, headed away this time by Tyrick Mitchell at the back there for Palace, and Ben White quickly takes the Arsenal throw in. Now Zinchenko, he plays it on to Declan Rice in the centre. Back to Zinchenko. This time the ball is out to Ben White down the Arsenal right, picked up by Odegaard on the right of the Palace 18-yard box. Now Zinchenko has it, and then he fires it out to the left to Leandro Trossard, cuts in onto his right foot, but then delivers it into the area from the left. Now Odegaard inside the 18-yard box, the Palace 18-yard box, and the ball this time goes out for a corner to Arsenal. The last touch of Mitchell, who is happy to clear his lines and away from danger. So free kick to Arsenal from their left, which will be taken by Saka. It is in fact Arsenal's fourth corner of this match. 36 minutes gone, Arsenal 1, Palace 0. Saka standing over the corner. The Englishman delivers into the area, and it's 2-0 to Arsenal. Dean Henderson believes there was an obstruction in there, but Arsenal turn away in celebration. They double their lead. Dean Henderson immediately rushes out of his goal, and Roy Hodgson speaks to the fourth official on the far side, and the ball has ended up in the back of the Crystal Palace net, and Saka delivered an inviting ball in, and it was Gabriel who's got his head to it. His second of the match, and Dean Henderson believes he was obstructed by Ben White, who was standing in front of the Crystal Palace goalkeeper, and no doubt VAR will take a look at this. The initial reaction is that Ben White was standing in front of the Crystal Palace goalkeeper, but the Arsenal players don't care. They turn around and immediately celebrate. And the goal does stand. It's Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 0, and Gabriel has got his second of the game. So 2 goals and 2 headed goals from the Brazilian. And Arsenal in control against Crystal Palace in this first half. Palace with a throw in. The ball is played forward by Joachim Andersen, but Arsenal immediately closing Palace down and winning the ball back. Now Gabriel on to David Raya. William Saliba plays it forward this time. Now Havertz plays it into the path of Gabriel. Now Declan Rice picks it up centrally inside the Arsenal half. He plays it on to Zinchenko. Now played forward by Saliba. Now Ben White plays it downfield into the path of Gabriel Jesus. Jesus inside the Palace 18-yard box. And the last touch is off Mark Guay and the ball runs out for an Arsenal throw-in down the right. Odegaard quickly takes it. Now Jesus, nice turn, and he goes down under a challenge, and it will be another Arsenal free kick from the right-hand side of the Palace 18-yard box. A foul this time by Tyrick Mitchell. 39 minutes gone, Arsenal 2, Palace 0. And a chance for Arsenal and Saka to deliver it into the Palace area. Can Arsenal find a third goal before the break? All Palace bodies back in the area. Saka standing over the resulting free kick. Gabriel Jesus just short of the goal line. The ball is played into the area. It's not away. Chip back in by Zinchenko. It then goes for goal, and the ball drifts out for a Crystal Palace goal kick. But 5 minutes to go before half-time. And Mikel Arteta will be delighted with what he's seen from his side in this first half. Arsenal on course for the 3 points. Dean Henderson with the Palace goal kick, and he fires it downfield, and the ball is headed up in the air by the Palace striker Mateta. Arsenal keep the ball in, and Bukayo Saka gives it away. Now Palace look to conjure up an attacking opportunity, and Jeff Schlupp goes for goal, and it's a tame effort which isn't troubling David Raya from around 30 yards out. The ball goes out for a Crystal Palace throw-in down their left-hand side inside the Arsenal half. Now it's played back by Anderson to Dean Henderson, who gives it back to the Danish centre-back in the Crystal Palace ranks, and now David Raya clears his lines and plays it downfield. Mitchell all the way back to Mark Guay, and then Paul Tierney has blown his whistle because Jefferson Lerma has handed down on the deck under following a challenge involving Gabriel Jesus and Joachim Andersen. It looks as though Joachim Andersen and Jefferson Lerma both got themselves in a bit of a tangle. So on come the Palace medical team, and it gives both managers now the opportunity to give instructions to both sets of players. 3 minutes to go of normal time in this first half between Arsenal and Crystal Palace, as both Roy Hodgson and his trusted number 2 Ray Lewington watch on from their technical area. It remains to be seen, of course, how many minutes will be added on at the end of this first half. But there's plenty of work to do for Roy Hodgson at half-time if he's to get his team back into this contest. There's been very little threat, it's fair to say, from Crystal Palace in this first half, and no doubt the Palace manager will look to freshen things up at half-time or earlier on in the second half. Lerma is in fact back to his feet after receiving treatment from the Palace medical team. As previously mentioned, Palace do have Odsonne Edouard on the bench this afternoon, and he is their top goal scorer with 6 in 15 Premier League appearances so far this campaign, which does in fact equal his best run in a season since 2021-22. And the Frenchman has not in fact made a league appearance since a home defeat against Liverpool on December 9. So it certainly will be a welcome return for the Palace striker Edouard. Arsenal have a free kick meanwhile inside their half with Ben White, which he takes and gives to William Saliba. We're about to find out how many minutes are added on in this first half. Zinchenko has it just short of the halfway line, and then he plays it forward and it's picked up by Leandro Trossard. He delivers an inviting ball out to the right, picked up by Saka. Saka up against Tyrick Mitchell. He plays it infield to Ben White, who delivers a rather hit-and-hope ball into the area, and it's easily dealt with. Now Eze, he brings it over the halfway line down the Palace left, and then is easily, his attempted pass is easily cut out by Ben White, and Palace now have it. Now Lerma goes for goal from around 22 yards out, rather centrally, and it's dealt with rather easily by David Raya. And there will be 4 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half. Declan Rice has it inside the Arsenal half rather centrally. He plays it out to the left to Havertz. Now Zinchenko just short of the halfway line, out to the left onto Leandro Trossard. Back to the Ukrainian Zinchenko inside the centre circle. He's got Gabriel up alongside him on the left. He plays it out to Gabriel. Now he gets the ball back. Zinchenko brings it forwards, rather deep inside the Palace half. Now Jesus, nice ball out to the right to Saka. On the edge of from the right of the Palace 18-yard box, Saka chips it across, and then it's easily dealt with by the Palace defence. Odegaard now on to Rice, back to Odegaard. Odegaard floats the ball in, and it's headed away by Richards, and then helped on by Mark Guehi. But Arsenal once again come forward on the attack. This time it's played into the path of Havertz. Havertz into the area, onto Trossard, and then the Belgian international fires over from around 6 yards out. Goal kick to Crystal Palace, and the Eagles can breathe a sigh of relief. We have played 2 of the 4 additional minutes that had been signalled by the 4th official. But it was another great opportunity for Arsenal and Leandro Trossard, who has caused Crystal Palace plenty of problems down that left. Ball is headed down from the Dean Henderson's goal kick. Arsenal again win the ball back, but it's given away by Kai Havertz this time. Picked up by Mateta inside the Arsenal half, and then played all the way back to Joachim Andersen. Brought forward by Gueye over the halfway line, down the Palace left. Now Eze, he's looking for a way out. It's still with Eze, who lays it off to Gueye. And then Eze gets the ball back. Now it's in the centre circle with Jefferson Lerma. Chris Richards has it on the halfway line. And then he plays it back to Joachim Andersen. Andersen now onto Gueye, and then Gueye does the sensible thing and plays it all the way back to his goalkeeper, Dean Henderson. 1 minute of additional time left to play. Is there going to be one last opportunity for either of these sides? Palace come forward down their right this time, inside the Arsenal half. Lerma helps it on. It's picked up by Mateta this time. Mark Gueye has it inside the Arsenal half. He plays it out to the left to Tyrick Mitchell, and Paul Tierney decides that is the end of the first half. Arsenal go into the break 2 goals to the good. 2 headers from defender Gabriel, which separates the 2 teams at the break. At half-time on match day 21 at the Emirates between Arsenal and Crystal Palace, it's Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 0. Welcome back to the clash between Arsenal and Crystal Palace. It is, of course, the Gunners who lead 2-0 at the break going into the second half. 2 headers, in fact, from centre-back Gabriel, which separates these two teams. And it will be Arsenal to get the second half underway, kicking from right to left. We are now back underway at the Emirates on match day 21 of the Premier League 23-24 campaign. Arsenal immediately on the attack. This is Odegaard out to the right. Now picked up by Saka and into the 18-yard box, and his attempted cross takes a deflection, and Arsenal get themselves an early corner from the right-hand side in this second half. Saka likely to be the man to take it. Gabriel, meanwhile, makes his way inside the Palace area. Opportunity for Arsenal from the corner. The ball is floated in by Saka, and then Gabriel looks to get his head on it once again. The ball is broken to Declan Rice. And now Arsenal have it with Rice again. Now Zinchenko plays it in, and now it's broke to Saka from the right of the 18-yard box, the Palace 18-yard box, and he floats a ball in straight into the gloves of Dean Henderson. But it's a bright start to the second half by the Gunners, and they have certainly come out for the second half where they left the first, and now Martin Odegaard plays the ball out and Arsenal come forward once again. Saka chasing it down up against Mark Guay. He wins it. The Arsenal winger now played rather centrally, and Arsenal again going in search of that third goal. Gabriel Jesus, now Trossard centrally. Trossard goes for goal, and then his attempted effort takes a deflection, and Palace look for a way out. Eze this time onto Mateta. Now onto Nathaniel Klein inside the Arsenal half. Jeff Schlupp, his ball eventually finds Jefferson Lerma, and now Palace have it with Will Hughes just over the halfway line inside the Arsenal half. Now this is Tyrick Mitchell. He plays the ball all the way back to Anderson. Now Eze. Back to Joachim Anderson. Now it's with Chris Richards in the centre circle. All the way back to Anderson, who brings it forward on his right foot. And again, Palace looking for options. Now Chris Richards has it once again inside the centre circle. He's got Jeff Lerma up alongside him. Lerma all the way back this time. And now Will Hughes gathers it and plays it forward. And now Palace come forward. A shot is fired in, and it was Eze, the player who took the shot on, and it was easily saved in the end by David Raya, who got down to his right to palm it away and out for a Palace corner. But that was nice play by Eze and Crystal Palace, and they win themselves a corner from the left. Eze to take it, ball is floated in, and it's too close to David Raya, who gathers in both gloves, and he immediately fires it downfield, and he's picked out Havertz onto Gabriel Jesus from the right of the Palace 18-yard box, centrally into Trossard, who couldn't get the ball in his feet, and it was nice play that by the Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya to set his team on their way, and the ball broke to Gabriel Jesus, who played it across from the right centrally, and Leandro Trossard couldn't gather, and the ball eventually runs through to Dean Henderson. But Arsenal going in search of that third goal. We have seen it before where momentarily Nathaniel Klein has it, and Klein crosses and it evades everybody and goes out for a goal kick. But we have seen it where Crystal Palace have turned the game around against Manchester City previously. That Olise penalty, which earned Roy Hodgson's side a point before the turn of the year, and Arsenal will certainly know that they need that all-important third goal. Mateta, meanwhile, has it for Crystal Palace. He holds the ball up and the ball is crossed into the area, and it's dealt with by Alexander Zinchenko and helped on this time by Kai Havertz. Now headed down by Leandro Trossard, and Saka goes down under a challenge from Joachim Andersen and wins his side a free kick. Free kick which was quickly taken and given straight to Nathaniel Klein, and Palace this time have it with Dean Henderson, who sends the ball out to the left-hand side onto Tyrick Mitchell. Mitchell this time onto Will Hughes, who does well to pick out Eze. Eze over the halfway line, looks up and plays it forward into the path of Tyrick Mitchell, but it's watched out rather comfortably by Saka and out for an Arsenal goal kick. But both teams having opportunities in this second half. That effort from Eze and that delightful ball by David Raya, which picked out Gabriel Jesus on the right hand side of the Palace 18-yard box, who then cuts it across, only for Leandro Trossard to get the ball caught up in his feet. Goal kick to Arsenal, which David Raya fires downfield, headed on by Gabriel Jesus. This time it's played forward by Anderson and picked up by the USA international Chris Richards, who then plays it onto his goalkeeper Henderson, who's happy to fire it downfield. Throw in to Crystal Palace, just short of the halfway line down the Eagles' right. Nathaniel Klein to take. Again, he's looking for options, plays it further forward and it's easily cut out, and now Leandro Trossard plays it against Jeff Schlupp and out for an Arsenal throw in. Zinchenko to take it. Arsenal still leading Palace by those 2 goals, by 2-0. Gabriel, 2 headers from Gabriel in the first half, which separates these two sides. The ball is played forward by Leandro Trossard, given away and easily picked up by Will Hughes. Chris Richards now, he brings it forward over the halfway line, then plays it back to Joachim Andersen. Now Will Hughes out to the left onto Tyrick Mitchell. Mitchell has got Mateta alongside him. He picks out Mateta. Now back to Will Hughes, who gives the ball away, and Arsenal now have it with William Saliba, and then it's fired downfield by goalkeeper Raya. 53 minutes gone. Arsenal leading Crystal Palace by 2-0. Now Declan Rice has it and is again asking for more options. Plays it off to Martin Odegaard. Now played forward down the Arsenal left by Gabriel onto Zinchenko. Odegaard centrally onto Declan Rice. 24-year-old picks out Zinchenko. Back to the Ukraine international Zinchenko. Now Gabriel. Zinchenko this time centrally onto Rice. Rice lays it off to the right hand side onto Gabriel, and it's held up rather neatly by Kai Havertz. Havertz back to right, now Zinchenko. He's got Gabriel to his left, instead he plays it forward, flicked on by Martin Odegaard, and then Gabriel Jesus picked it up but was in an offside position. So a free kick to Crystal Palace. 55 minutes gone, and they trail Arsenal by 2-0. Joachim Andersen to take the free kick for Palace. He fires it down the left, rather deep inside the Arsenal half. Will Hughes battling with it up against Kai Havertz. Andersen chests it down and then plays it down the Palace left, held up by Mateta, who wants a free kick. Nothing given. Arsenal win the ball back. Now it's with Zinchenko down the Arsenal left, inside the Gunners' half. Centrally to Leandro Trossard. Now Gabriel onto his fellow centre-back, William Saliba. Now Zinchenko onto Gabriel once again. Now the Frenchman Saliba onto Odegaard. Odegaard offloads it this time to Declan Rice. And this time it's played forward by Saliba and dealt with by Mark Guay, but Arsenal come forward with Havertz, who lays it off to Zinchenko. Zinchenko midway inside the Palace half centrally, offloads it to Odegaard. Better from Arsenal. Jesus from the right, who goes for goal, and it's side netting. But again, positive play by the Gunners, and continuing to test that Palace back line. It did in fact take a deflection off a Crystal Palace body, and it goes out for an Arsenal corner from the right. So a chance now for Martin Odegaard to deliver an in-swinger from the corner. He does just that. Odegaard's ball in, still not away, breaks to Jesus. Now a shot is fired in, and this time Arsenal want a penalty. Crystal Palace clear their lines and then eventually managed to get the ball away to safety. Picked up by Eze now, down the Palace left, midway inside the Arsenal half. All Arsenal bodies back, and then Eze plays it against William Saliba and out for a corner from their left. But there were shouts for an Arsenal penalty. Gabriel Jesus going down under Nathaniel Klein's alleged challenge, and it certainly did look a very soft one. And nothing is given by the VAR, so it will be a Palace corner from their left. Ball is whipped into the area, and it breaks to Will Hughes on the edge of the box. He floats the ball back in, and out comes David Raya to gather and immediately throws it out. Nice throw out. Gabriel Jesus now midway inside the Palace half, squares it. Leandro Trossard into the area. Trossard! 3-0 to Arsenal. Wonderful play by the Gunners, involving goalkeeper David Raya, and Mikel Arteta immediately salutes his goalkeeper for his quick thinking. And Arsenal now have surely wrapped all 3 points. It's Arsenal 3, Crystal Palace 0. A wonderful Arsenal move. The ball was whipped in by Will Hughes, and out came Raya to immediately claim, and he threw it into the path of Gabriel Jesus, who broke clear and picked out Leandro Trossard, who was all alone, and then he got himself into the Palace 18-yard box. He cut inside on his right foot and fired it beyond Dean Henderson into the back of the Crystal Palace net. And with just less than half an hour to play, it is Crystal Palace who trail Arsenal by 3-0. Arsenal 3, Crystal Palace 0. Leandro Trossard, who was preferred to Gabriel Martinelli. The VAR are just checking this potential offside, but it does look as though Trossard was onside as the ball was played. Take nothing away from Leandro Trossard's finish, and the VAR can confirm that the goal will stand. So Arsenal now lead Crystal Palace by 3-0. And it's certainly a long way back now for the Eagles if they're to get anything out of this encounter. Trossard has it for Arsenal. The Gunners' tails are certainly up after that Trossard goal. Half an hour left to play. Arsenal lead Palace by 3-0. Declan Rice has it inside the centre circle. He offloads it to Zinchenko. Arsenal starting to enjoy themselves out there. Gabriel Jesus turns. He's got Trossard to his left. He picks out Trossard inside the area. Still not away. Odegaard. Jesus goes for goal. Takes a deflection. And Palace survive. And there is an offside in there anyway, so it wouldn't have counted. But again, it's nice play by the Gunners. And it was Gabriel Jesus' ball into the path of Trossard from the left, which was deemed offside. Roy Hodgson deep in conversation with Paddy McCarthy on the far side, and it remains to be seen whether Crystal Palace will change things in a moment or two, but Arsenal have the ball meanwhile. It's with Declan Rice inside the Gunners' half. He offloads it to his skipper Martin Odegaard. Now Leandro Trossard over the halfway line up against Nathaniel Klein, and now Jeff Schlupp. He's managed to pick out Lerma. Now it's into Mateta. On to Jeff Schlupp. Schlupp this time onto Eze. Eze looks to go for goal. He does that, but it hits an Arsenal body, and Arsenal Gabriel Jesus has fouled Eze in the process, and it will be a free kick to Crystal Palace from around 22 yards out. Just rather centrally, but from the left of the Arsenal goal. And an opportunity now for Eze to test David Raya. He had the opportunity in the first half, which he fired against the Arsenal wall. Can he go for goal? And Eze does go for goal, and this time it draws a save from David Raya, who managed to prevent it finding the back of the Gunners' net. It was a good effort that by Eze, and it will be a Palace corner from the right hand side. One which Eze will take. All Palace bodies in there. Eze does take it. The ball is played across into the path of Will Hughes, who fires it back into the mix, and then the ball is dealt with by the Arsenal back line, and now Palace have it with Joachim Andersen over the inside the Arsenal half, and then he plays it all the way back to Nathaniel Klein. Klein this time out to Eze, back to Klein. He plays it forward into the path of Mateta. Now Mateta once again. Mateta from the right-hand side of the Arsenal 18-yard box, and he plays it against an Arsenal body, and it goes out for another Crystal Palace corner from the right-hand side. And we're about to see the first change of the afternoon. Crystal Palace ready to make a substitution, and it looks as though it will be Ozo ready. David Ozo, the 18-year-old who is about to enter the fray. Corner is quickly taken. This time it comes out to Joachim Andersen, who delivers it into the area, still not away. Ball is played in by Jeff Schlupp, and then Arsenal are happy to just clear it away, and anywhere will do for the Gunners. Now Palace have the ball inside their half. Andersen plays it on to Will Hughes. Now Hughes back to Andersen. Tyrick Mitchell all the way to his goalkeeper Dean Henderson this time, who plays it downfield looking to pick out Jeff Schlupp, and Gabriel battling with Schlupp, and this time a free kick has been awarded to Arsenal for a foul by Jeff Schlupp on Gabriel. So Crystal Palace readying that change. David Ozo, the Valencian-born 18-year-old midfielder, about to enter the action, but play continues momentarily, and Arsenal have it with Gabriel Jesus inside their half. He offloads it to William Saliba. Now back to David Raya. Gabriel this time fires it downfield, and it's headed up in the air by Gabriel Jesus, and he plays the ball forward, and then Havertz was in an offside position, and play will be brought back for a free kick. But the change can now take place, so on comes David Ozo, and he takes the place of Will Hughes in the heart of that Crystal Palace midfield. "67 minutes gone, and Arsenal leading Crystal Palace by 3-0. Arsenal themselves about to make two changes, and Gabriel Martinelli and Emile Smith-Rowe are about to be introduced by Mikel Arteta. Martin Odegaard has the ball inside the Arsenal half. Now Zinchenko. He plays it out onto Trossard, and Odegaard gets the ball back, and then Gabriel Jesus couldn't control it. Nathaniel Klein has it and immediately plays it onto Eze. And now the ball goes out for a throw-in to Arsenal down their left inside the Gunners' half. Those changes can now take place, and Gabriel Martinelli will replace Leandro Trossard, the scorer of that Arsenal third goal. So on comes Martinelli to take the place of Trossard, and Kai Havertz is the other player to leave the field, and on comes Emile Smith-Rowe, the Arsenal number 10. So 20 minutes of normal time left to play. Arsenal 3, Palace 0. The Gunners have the ball with Gabriel inside their half. He plays it out to his right onto William Saliba. A first touch for Emile Smith-Rowe. who lays the ball off to Gabriel. And now the ball is played onto Zinchenko. First touch now for Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli looks up and continues to bomb forward down that left-hand side. Gabriel Jesus' attempted ball to Martinelli is cut out. Now it's cleared by Nathaniel Klein, who's managed to pick out Jeff Schlupp. He floated out down the Palace left, looking to pick out Eze, who's done really well. Now he offloads it to Jeff Schlupp. Schlupp battles up against Emile Smith-Rowe, who pinches the ball back, and Arsenal have it now with Declan Rice. Rice to Zinchenko inside the Palace half, down the left-hand side. Now Martinelli looking to take on Klein, and Martinelli brings it forward inside the 18-yard box from the left, but it runs out of play, and it will be a Palace goal kick. But Palace have lacked cutting edge, it's fair to say, in this clash. It was always going to be a difficult one for Roy Hodgson's side, especially given Arsenal's recent slump. And it remains to be seen whether Palace can get themselves a goal and some sort of a lifeline with 19 minutes left to play. The Eagles have the ball at the back with Joachim Andersen. Now Jefferson Lerma. He lays it out to Mark Wade down the left-hand side. Picked up by Lerma again, who looked to play it into the path of Mateta, and Palace have it inside their half with Andersen. Andersen looks up and lays the ball off to Tyrick Mitchell. Picked up by Lerma. Back to Mitchell this time. He plays the ball forward onto Mateta. Now Lerma. Joachim Andersen chips it forward, looking to find Eze, and Eze's done well to hold the ball up from the left-hand side of the Arsenal 18-yard box. He cuts inside and lays the ball off this time to Lerma. Picked up by Andersen, who delivers it in, and it really is a poor ball to say the least, and goes out for an Arsenal goal kick. Arsenal readying another change, and we're about to see Jorginho enter the action. The experienced Brazilian, and Declan Rice will now leave the field, with Jorginho about to take his place. The experienced midfielder Jorginho will play the remaining 18 minutes. So a goal kick to Arsenal, which is taken by William Saliba onto his goalkeeper David Raya. Now Odegaard onto Saliba. He plays it out to Gabriel, and a free kick to Arsenal this time for a foul by Jeff Schlupp on Martin Odegaard. Gabriel standing over it, and he will most likely play it back to his goalkeeper. In fact, he's left it for his goalkeeper David Raya to take it. Palace, meanwhile, about to make another substitution. David Raya clears the ball downfield, and this time Jorginho recovers it for the Gunners. Arsenal have it inside their half, played forward by Gabriel. Now Zinchenko looked to play it forward down the left to Martinelli, but he's overhit his pass, and it goes through to Dean Henderson, who quickly plays the ball out to Mark Guay, and then Jefferson Lerma gives it away. Arsenal pinch it back, and now Gabriel Jesus has won it back, and Martin Odegaard has it inside the Palace 18-yard box onto the edge of the area, and the shot is fired in by Saka, and it certainly would have done a lot to have beaten Dean Henderson from that angle. But it's a wayward one by Saka that drifts over the Crystal Palace crossbar and out for a Palace goal kick. So that change for the Eagles can now take place, and off comes Jeff Schlupp, and he leaves the field alongside Nathaniel Klein, whose afternoon is also over, and on comes Palace number 11, Matthias Franca. And there's also an opportunity for Naweru Ahamada, the young 21-year-old defensive midfielder, Marseille-born, who joined the club in the summer from German side Stuttgart. So a quarter of an hour left to play at the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Crystal Palace 0. As Mikel Arteta has both his arms folded and watches on with a stern face from his technical area. Free kick though to Arsenal inside the Palace half. Martin Odegaard standing over it and places the ball down from the right hand side of the Palace area before pulling his socks over his knees. So an opportunity for the Gunners to fire the ball into the Palace mix. Odegaard does just that, and it doesn't beat the first man, and then the ball broke to Jorginho, who fires it over and out for a Palace goal kick. So Dean Henderson with the Palace goal kick. 77 minutes played at the Emirates, and Crystal Palace trailing Arsenal by 3-0. The goal kick is eventually taken by Henderson, held up by Eze. Now Ahamada. He plays the ball all the way back this time to Chris Richards, and then it's easily won back by Arsenal, and now Zinchenko has it for the Gunners inside their half. Jorginho, he gives the ball to Martin Odegaard, and it's won by Eze. Eze comes forward, plays it into the path of Tyrick Mitchell, and it's dealt with by Saka and goes out for a Palace corner from the left. So an opportunity now for the Eagles from the set piece. It will be Eze to take it from the left hand side. Mateta in there. The ball is delivered in by Eze, easily dealt with by Gabriel at the back there for Arsenal, who heads it clear. Now the ball is picked up by Martinelli, who's all alone, and he's up against Tyrick Mitchell. Martinelli breaks clear inside the area, and Mitchell does well, but he gives the ball away. And now Odegaard, a chance for an effort from the edge of the area, and he strikes at goal, and his effort is deflected, and Palace break away and have it inside their half, and it will be a free kick to Crystal Palace in the centre circle. So 10 minutes of normal time left to play. Arsenal 3, Crystal Palace 0. It was good defended in the end by Tyrick Mitchell, but he gave it straight to Martin Odegaard, whose attempt was blocked. And now there's a worry for Arsenal, because Gabriel, their centre-back, has gone down and is now receiving treatment from the Arsenal medical staff. And we're about to see Jakub Kiwior, the Poland international and centre-back for Arsenal, to come on for these remaining 10 minutes. And there will also be an opportunity for Eddie Nketiah. Gabriel Jesus will leave the field for Nketiah, and it is likely that Kiwior will also come on in place of the other Gabriel, an Arsenal defender who has found the back of the net twice with his head this afternoon. So those changes can now take place. So both Gabriel Jesus and the Arsenal centre-back Gabriel leave the field. So on comes Jakub Kiwior and Eddie Nketiah respectively. Can Arsenal find themselves a fourth goal? Crystal Palace have it inside their half. It's played forward by Chris Richards this time, helped on by Matheus Franca. Now David Ozo has it. He offloads it to Ahamada, who plays it all the way back this time to Chris Richards. Now Joachim Andersen centrally inside the Palace half, again looking for options. He plays it on to Tyrick Mitchell, and then Palace are rewarded a free kick for a foul on the Crystal Palace midfielder Eze. James Tompkins getting ready for Crystal Palace on the sidelines. He's about to make his entrance and play the remaining 8 minutes. Joachim Andersen has it for Palace inside their half. He plays it out to the right onto Chris Richards, who floats the ball forward. And Matheus Franca did well to bring the ball down, but is offside. So a free kick to Arsenal. 82 minutes played. Arsenal 3, Crystal Palace 0. Arsenal come forward with Emile Smith-Rowe. Now it's picked up by Martin Odegaard. He plays it out to the Arsenal right, picked up by Bukayo Saka. Now Odegaard plays it forward, and now it's picked up by Saka once again. He offloads it to Zinchenko. Now Jorginho. His ball is played out down the right hand side, and it's easily dealt with by Tyrick Mitchell, who brings it forward. Now Mitchell plays it on to Eze, who gives the ball away. Nketiah now, he gives the ball away. The game becoming very scrappy in these remaining 8 minutes. But Palace managed to find a way out, and it's picked up by Lermo, brings it forward over the halfway line. And now Matheus Franca, he offloads it to Mateta, who then gives the ball away, and it's now broke to Emile Smith-Rowe. He gives it to Martin Odegaard. The Arsenal skipper brings it onto his left foot and offloads it to Jorginho. Now it's with goalkeeper David Raya, who plays it out to his left onto Jakub Kiwior. Now played forward by Jorginho. Nice play by Arsenal as Emile Smith-Rowe brings it forward over the halfway line. He offloads it to Gabriel Martinelli. Now Martinelli onto Saka on the edge of the Palace 18-yard box. Back to Martinelli, who cuts inside, and then it's recovered by Emile Smith-Rowe. Now Jorginho rather centrally, 22 yards out. Back to Jorginho. Now Saka has it. Saka onto Martinelli. He offloads it to Zinchenko. 6 minutes of normal time and whatever will be signalled by the fourth official left to play. Nice play by Martinelli, who has the ball on the left-hand side of the Palace 18-yard box, but he gives it away. Now Mateta chasing it down, and the ball is played back by William Saliba all the way to his goalkeeper, David Raya. Ball is played forward by Jorginho this time, and it's held up by Gabriel Martinelli, who's up against the Palace defender Ahamada. Well, defensive midfielder who's slotting in a five-man defence for Palace as they look to weather this Arsenal storm. Now Martin Odegaard, Ben White. Odegaard has it inside the Palace half onto Emile Smith-Rowe, who plays it out to the left. Now a chance for Zinchenko, and then it's played all the way back, and Arsenal have it with Martinelli. Martinelli to the left to Zinchenko on the left-hand side of the Palace 18-yard box. Zinchenko does well to pick out Martinelli. Martinelli cuts the ball across, and it's dealt with by Palace, and it's cleared away by Ahamada and then helped on, but again won back by Arsenal. And a free kick for a foul by Mateta on William Saliba. Arsenal 3, Palace 0, and now we're about to see James Tompkins enter the action for these remaining 4 minutes. So Tompkins to come on for Tyrick Mitchell. In fact, it will be Mark Guade to leave the field, so Tompkins takes over the armband and will play the remaining 4 minutes. Arsenal meanwhile go on the attack. Martinelli plays it on to Jorginho. Now this is Jakub Kiwior who joins in. Jorginho plays it forward down the Arsenal left-hand side onto Emile Smith-Rowe. Won back by Zinchenko. Jorginho this time onto Odegaard. Odegaard wins the ball back and then plays it onto the experienced Jorginho. Ben White helps it onto Zinchenko. Now Emile Smith-Rowe has it down the Arsenal left. Jorginho floats the ball into the Palace area, and then it's dealt with by Joachim Andersen, who's happy to just clear it away. Now Emile Smith-Rowe wins the ball back, offloads it to Zinchenko. Now Jorginho onto Kiwior. Kiwior has picked out Saliba, who then finds his skipper, Odegaard. Arsenal have it in the centre circle. Jorginho plays it out to the right-hand side. Picked up this time by Ben White, and he plays the ball all the way back to Saliba. 2 minutes of normal time left to play. Arsenal 3, Palace 0. The Gunners have it inside the Palace half, and now it's with Zinchenko down the left-hand side. Now Kiwior. Kiwior plays it forwards onto Martinelli. Martinelli up against Ahamada. Martinelli cuts the ball across inside the area. Zinchenko manages to get his shot away as he took a tumble inside the area, and it was a tame effort straight into the gloves of Dean Henderson. The ball is with the Crystal Palace goalkeeper. Ball is cleared downfield, and Palace have it with Ahamada. Now Mateus Franca helps it on. Eze manages to put it through the legs of Saka. Eze brings it forward and then gives the ball away straight to Zinchenko, but Palace have it with Joachim Andersen inside the Arsenal half, out to the left-hand side, and now Eze. He offloads it to Mateta, who holds the ball up, but he's crowded out this time. And now David Raya puts his foot through it and clears it downfield, headed down by James Tompkins. Now Ahamada brings it forward for Palace, and he offloads it down the right-hand side on the edge of the Arsenal 18-yard box, and it will be a corner to Palace. Last touch off Zinchenko, and it will be a corner to Crystal Palace. So a corner from the right-hand side, which Eze will take. 6 minutes of additional time has been signalled. The corner is played into the area, headed down and then onto the roof of the net by Chris Richards, and out for an Arsenal goal kick. But it certainly has not really happened at all for Palace this afternoon. They've struggled to conjure up any clear-cut opportunity, and Arsenal have seen plenty of the ball and have been worthy of all 3 points so far. Palace meanwhile come forward on the attack. Now it's Eze down the Palace left-hand side. He plays the ball forward into the path of Mateta, and the ball is once again given away and Arsenal clear it. Bukayo Saka sends it up in the air, but he gives it away and Palace have it midway inside the Arsenal half. Now this is David Ozo, and then his ball is a wasteful one and Ahamada can't keep it in, and the ball drifts out for a Arsenal throw in, which kind of sums up Palace's day overall. So a throw in to Arsenal inside their half on the left. Zinchenko to take it. The Ukraine international does take it and then gets another opportunity at the throw in. You have played 2 of the additional 6 minutes that was signalled by the 4th official. Arsenal 3, Crystal Palace 0. Zinchenko this time plays the ball out and it will be a Palace throw in. Quickly taken down the right by Ahamada, and the ball is once again given away. Arsenal come forward with Odegaard. Nice ball into the path of Eddie Nketiah, who can't control it, and Palace win the ball back. But nice play now by Ahamada, who breaks clear down the right hand side, just short of the Arsenal 18-yard box, and again the ball is given away this time by Mateta. Chip forward by Ben White, who's looking to pick out Bukayo Saka. Now Eze, he offloads it to Mateta, and again it's given away. Arsenal bring it forward. Eddie Nketiah into the path of Martinelli, who breaks clear inside the area. It steers it beyond Dean Henderson, and Arsenal have a 4th, which caps off what has been an emphatic afternoon for the Gunners overall. Martinelli gets his goal, having been left out of the starting 11 with Leandro Trossard preferred, but the Brazilian is on the score sheet, and Arsenal now have 4 goals. It's Arsenal 4, Crystal Palace 0. And it's now more misery for Crystal Palace and Roy Hodgson as the away end starts to empty, and the ball broke into the path of Eddie Nketiah, who put it on a plate for Gabriel Martinelli inside the Crystal Palace 18-yard box, and Martinelli looked up and steered a right-footed effort beyond Dean Henderson into the left-hand side of the Palace goal, And it is Arsenal 4, Crystal Palace 0. So 2 minutes of the additional time left to play, and Dean Henderson fires it downfield. And it's headed on by Matheus Franca, but Arsenal again play it forward, and now there's a chance for 5. Martinelli again, and scores again. 2 goals for Martinelli in the space of a minute. And the Brazilian nets a brace. Arsenal have 5. And it caps off a stunning display for the Gunners. Arsenal 5, Crystal Palace 0. The ball was cleared downfield by Dean Henderson, and it was headed on by Matheus Franca, but given away. And Jorginho floated it forward into the path of Martinelli, who got the ball on his right foot inside the 18-yard box, and once again fired it beyond Dean Henderson into the back of the Crystal Palace net. Into the same left-hand corner. No chance for the Palace goalkeeper, and it's Arsenal 5, Crystal Palace 0. And the referee, Paul Turney, brings proceedings to an end. Arsenal worthy winners against a lacklustre and threatless Crystal Palace in the end. Gabriel netted twice, 2 headers for the Arsenal defender. Dean Henderson own goal on 37 minutes. Leandro Trossard was on the score sheet, and 2 goals.